What's up? Waiting for people to fill in. And currently I am green. Thank you, Nan's pal. It's also here on YouTube and my site Corsetro. Hey, by the way, let me know if that music in the background's too loud in comparison to my voice. I am going to be shutting it off once I start, but I'm just waiting for more people to come in. Hello, everyone. I am on Dribbble. Depends on what you mean by programming. I consider myself a stronger designer than I am a coder, but I do coding as well, primarily front end. But I consider myself full stack, so. So right now I'm looking at my Cintiq here. Move this thing is sweet, this arm that it's on, but that's where I have your chat showing up. I was gonna have the chat show up on the screen, but when we're dealing with something like Adobe XD or Photoshop or whatever, those messages can kind of become a little bit intrusive. Well, it depends on what you mean by Corsetro videos. I mean, I get a ton of comments. I can't respond to most of them, actually. So, hey all. Let's see, we have 71 watching right now. I am going to be doing Angular 6, kind of like a project-based app that will help beginners with Angular 6. I'm going to be doing that soon. I actually haven't really touched it yet, so we'll see in terms of Angular 6. So today I'm probably going to be streaming for an hour, I assume. I mean, just based on the content that I'm covering. All right, well, it's telling me 71 are currently watching. All right, 76. So I'm going to get started here real soon. If you're new to Angular, just learn the latest one, or Angular 5, because there's probably more content at the moment for that. Angular 2, 4, and 5, and even 6 are fairly similar, so just not Angular JS or the 1.0 version. So yeah, Caven or Cavan, I'm not, yeah, probably Caven. I designed what I'm about to design already. I did it yesterday. It's for the Adobe XD Daily Challenge. So I did the second day challenge, which is to do a movie ticket flow app. So I'm just gonna follow that one. There's not gradients on that though. Do you prefer Adobe over Sketch? Well, if you're talking about XD over Sketch, I'm about to, for the first time, get a Mac, so I'll tell you when I use it. All right, let's get rid of this green overlay here. There we go. Yes, I am from Ohio. Unfortunately, northeastern. It's very cloudy here most of the time. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to switch to the desktop here, and what I'm about to do is just a part of the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. I announced the video about it, I don't know, a couple days ago, and they've recently gone free. They have a starter plan now, and so you have the full functionality of the app, plus the only limitations are in terms of like the storage and stuff like that. But they also have this daily creative challenge here, and they're on, today's technically day 3. They're going to announce it shortly, probably in an hour or so. And then this is based on yesterday's challenge, which is to create, use XD to create a user interface and a flow of a movie ticket purchase on a fictional app. So I participated in that. I'm just going to show you what I did and also the thought process. I'm going to really try to think about, how, or not think about, but try to, instead of just showing the how, also the why in terms of the design decisions. So I'll just be focusing primarily on what constitutes good fundamentals in terms of design. So I think that will help people the most. All right. So you could participate in this, by the way, if you go to this URL, xd.adobelanding.com/daily-challenge, and put in your name and email, and they simply email you each morning with the new challenge. There's also a Slack channel right here that Adobe XD has. So adobexd.slack.com, you can get access to this. They're not paying me for this, by the way. I'm just doing this on my own. I'm a fan of Adobe products, so yeah. So let's see here. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to get started real quickly. I'm going to try to remember to switch over and look at this monitor, which has your comments, so that I can answer everything. All right, so all right. I'll look at these comments as I'm designing along. I just kind of want to get started for the moment. So let's see here. We're going to go to Adobe XD. All right, so the first thing we want to do is I'm going to choose iPhone X. Give us a bigger canvas. Oops, there I am. And you have to remember to actually switch the cameras, otherwise you're not going to see the screen. All right, so I'm going to design 3 screens here, and the first one is just going to be kind of like the home page of the app. That's going to feature a featured movie up here, and then some latest movies and some action movies down here, just to give you the idea of what the homepage would look like, or the main starting screen of this app. And then for the secondary page, it's going to be the page that shows the movie details. All right, we're going to use Deadpool 2 for this demonstration, and then what happens when a person clicks on purchase tickets, what shows up. All right, so just for this initial page's background, I'm going to choose, I'm going to go lighter here, just a light, very light gray there. So that's all E's for the hex code. So right now I'm going to pause real quick just to look at some of the comments here. Do I prefer, oh, I already read that one. All right. So Rook, you're asking, do I recommend someone with no experience with these programs to start with XD or Figma or something else? I don't think it really matters that much. Just choose, try all of them out and see which interface that you prefer the best. Honestly, that's the only thing I can give in terms of suggestions. Can you put a link on the chat? I'll try to do that afterwards. Need a suggestion when designing. Yeah, no, in terms of giving preference over UI or over UX, they're 2 peas in a pod, essentially, in terms of how you approach it. The UI is obviously the aesthetics, and then I kind of just wing it honestly in terms of when I designed the screen initially yesterday, I was going back and forth, changing everything, and just in terms of the whole user experience. So I'm kind of messy in that way. So let's go ahead and get started. So we have this light background here. I'm gonna get started with the header portion, or the menu, or the navigation, whatever you want to call it. And so I'm just going to use real quickly a rectangle. And I'm going to make the background here kind of not quite black, but a darker black there, or a darker gray rather. And the color code's 292929. All right, and then I'm just going to give a very simple word mark based logo, movie app. And then let's see here, make it white. I'm going to use Montserrat, as I have been for a long time, for the font. And that's part of Google Fonts. And then let's see here, we'll use bold. Get this centered up. And just to give it some color, I'll take just the the movie part, and we'll give it a primary color for our color scheme, something that sticks out quite a bit. And why did that just happen? There we go. All right, so now we have a very simple, this obviously isn't going to be a logo design tutorial. I think maybe we'll make that a little bit smaller. So quick tip, you can just left click and drag in these, whenever there's a numeric text field value, you can just drag up or down and change the size. Move the app. All right, and then I'm just going to have a simple hamburger menu icon over here. There's I'm not going to have anything else, and I'm not going to make it functional. We're just kind of just getting a basic aesthetic for this fictional app going on. To do that, I'm going to use where is it at? I'm trying to get my my main page up here. There we are. We're going to use material.io/icons. All right, and I'll search for menu. So we see down here we have menu, we click on that, and we could choose, with the selected icon, white, and we'll choose SVG. That's going to download, and I could just, I could show in folder, and I'm looking over here. I'm going to drag it to my, actually you could just drag it from there to the artboard here. So right there. I chose white, and for some reason it's still black, but we can just quickly change the color that way and get this lined up with that guide where it's in the center of this area. All right, very simple. All right, so let's see here. Moving forward, let's see. I'm gonna check something on my screen real quick. Okay. All right, so the next part is going to be a kind of just the featured movie section. So I'm just going to take this and duplicate it, Control D, move it down, holding Shift. And roughly right around here will be good. And for this, I'm going to need to have a watermark background image for the preferred movie. All right, and you can share your work with me by I mean, if you just want to link it here, I assume that you can link in this Adobe or this not Adobe, but this YouTube chat window, and I'll try to check it out. Yeah, the stream will be available afterwards, and YouTube does that. It takes like an hour sometimes after it's finished. All right. So what I'm going to do is use let's see here. Where the hell am I at? There I am. So, like I said, I'm going to use Deadpool 2 photos. I don't know. I'm just going to use this one right here. And so, what I believe I can do is just drag this right there. Sweet. All right. So, when it comes to using, a background image, and when you have the intention of putting text on top of it or any type of content that's important that people can easily read and use or see, you got to make sure that the contrast is pushed, way down. You don't want a lot amount of contrast. Like in this context, you're obviously going to have to do something more with this so that you don't see so much contrast, but you can still see it in a subtle manner. So that's what I'm going after with this approach. So to do that, we can just duplicate this, Control D, and get our layers out. And right here, here's our duplicated background. Right now, I'm just going to hide the top one, This one will give it our color. By the way, we'll take this and add it to our swatches with the plus. Now we'll take this one, this fill, and just change it to that color right here. Then we'll bring back, make it visible again, this one, and we just bring down the opacity quite a bit. All right, something like that for now. We may change it. And I'll also show you something else that's pretty cool that we can do. For instance, I'll just show you right now. Maybe I'll keep it. You can hit Control D, so we'll create another copy of this, and we'll bring this opacity all the way up and change this to a linear gradient. And for this color, we'll choose that. We're going to choose the same color for both, except for the first one, we can change the opacity all the way down. So we could just drag this. And that way you can create kind of a fade, a gradient fade over the image itself. Then if you want to bring it back just a little bit more, you can do so. All right, cool. So now I can just take all three of those and group them up. You can rename it, double clicking the name, and just name it something like, let's see, overlay. That'll work. All right. Thanks, Bruno. Yeah, if you can't link here, I don't know, join that Slack channel, the XD Slack channel. Where's that? This one. It's adobexd.slack.com, and then just message me. My username's Design Course. All right. So going back, now we're going to add some text. So always use your guides, as you saw there. When you're aligning text and you have a left portion of white space here or margin. So here we're just going to put in a text featured movie, and that's obviously way too big. So hit escape. Drag this down because we want this to be a secondary element. We don't really want it to be the focus. Underneath it will be the name of the movie that's featured. Also, to de-emphasize it a bit more, we can change it from bold to regular. All right, and then I'm just going to duplicate that. Control D, hold Shift, scale down, scale this up. All right, and so through size, we've obviously given importance to this element. So you can also do it through font weight. So we can do both. All right, Deadpool 2. That seems like a pretty good size. All right. And then we can have a secondary element down here underneath it that could perhaps display the genres that it's in, like action, drama, adventure, whatever. And we can make this a little bit larger. Now, right now, this text, the featured movie text, and the this text, they seem to clash because they're too similar in appearance. So you could change this in a few ways to give separation between these three elements visually. We could go ahead and give us a background without a fill, make it black, give it maybe slight border radius, and move it underneath our featured movie text. And that way you kind of create a container around it. Like that, I guess. Yeah, it looks pretty decent. Now they're all clearly defined in their own way. All right. All right, so second after this is going to be a call to action button. Looking over here. Figma or XD. I've heard that question about 400 times, I think, recently. It depends. I mean, if you want something web-based, obviously Figma will be your answer. Yeah, otherwise, if that's not important, I would go with XD because I believe it does have a few more features. I believe Figma though does have the ability to provide you with code, CSS code and such, based on the elements you're selecting. So if you want something like that, you would use Figma. This one I'm just going to have, it's not going to be filled in for the call to action. And the reason I've chosen to not make it stick out quite a bit is because really I don't want it to be the focal point of the home page. Underneath will be a bunch of other movies, so that would just kind of take too much attention away from it. So now I'm going to center some text here. I'm just going to say more info. And move this here in the center. And the reason whenever you're using text within a button, you left click and drag out to create a text area, and that way if you need to resize them, it'll stay in the center and you won't have to keep on repositioning. So like this, for instance, quite handy. I think that's fine for now. I may adjust it later. So now I can just pull this up. If we don't want it to take quite as much screen real estate, select everything, get it centered there. Now also to create separation between the top element, this navigation bar or the header bar, and this, we can take this as long as it's, let's actually go ahead and take these and group them up. All right, so group one, we'll just call this nav. We'll seat this on top of everything. And then double click into here to get access to this bar. You could do a drop shadow. All right, right there. So the drop shadow itself is by default 6 pixels of blur, and then 3 on the y-axis. And if we click on this, we can make it show up a little bit more. So all right, I'm cool with that so far. I may want to make this stick out just a tad bit more, this overlay, so it could bring this opacity up. There we go. Okay, so now we'll keep on keeping on. Let's see. One thing to do to give it a little bit a little bit different of a look, I guess you could call it, is darn, I wish I would have done this initially, but that's fine. If I double click in here to the very first one, if you double click on it, you gain access to the anchor points, and that's going to move this left one down to create a slight little slant. So I counted 14, so I have to repeat this unfortunately with the other ones. So double click. Oops. Why is it doing that? 1 second. There we go. And then hide this one and do this finally one last time. There we go. So now we can bring these all back. And now we have just a different type of aesthetic, and this is something that's become a little bit more popular. All right, so now I'm going to take all these and get this positioned down a little bit further. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to switch over here and read some comments. Coding and caffeine, familiar name. Material plugin in XD. So I have a Windows machine I don't want on my MacBook. Is it an actual plugin, or is it a kit? Is that what, I'm not sure what you're referring to, so let me know. The background music, I don't know. It's something I purchased from audiojungle.net. All right, so now let's do this secondary stuff down here. Real quick, I'll take just this text, move it down, make it dark gray, I believe. All right, and then this is going to be called latest movies. All right, and then we're gonna go to Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm just gonna grab some stuff here. All right, where am I at? There we go. So I'm just gonna click on Book Club. They have a DVD sort of, or poster, or whatever you want to call it, right here. I'm just gonna drag it on, and it works quite well. So scale this up just a bit, holding Control and Alt, and let's give this a shadow, something that's kind of subtle. Maybe make this like 3, and then also push this over 3. Oh, I hate when it does that. We'll take this 3. There we go. All right, and then to the right and left of it will be other thumbnails, just 2. So one here and then one here. Yeah, I love Slayer. Yeah, I grew up playing guitar, and I started learning. Who did I learn from initially? Black Sabbath, I think, and then who else? Metallica, old school Metallica, and then I got into Slayer a bit, and also recently. So let's go back here. Let's get a different thumbnail. There we go. Let's get another one. Cargo. I have no clue what any of these movies are. And so let's see here. These should be probably a little bit closer, although I could just make this larger. All right, something like that. Latest movies. I'm not going to spend too much time in this section. So now what we can do is just take this repeat grid and pull it down vertically. And then take the space between them a little bit more. You want to make sure when you have a repeating list or repeating elements of content like this that you have a large enough amount of space between them. Some people will just do something like, well, maybe not that bad, but really clutter things up, and it makes it hard to see the distinction between the repeating elements. So then I could take this and ungroup the grid. I'll change the name here to something like Action Movies. All right, and then finally just do one more situation where, wait, let me check the chat real quick. Yeah, I'm not sure. Unfortunately, well, I'll check it out in this maybe afterwards. After this is done designed. So now let me real quickly just repeat this process. Black Panther, we'll go there. Or wait, Dark Crimes. We'll put this here. Black Panther here. And then finally, on this one, Samson, whatever that is. Oh wait, we already did that one. Yellowbirds. There we go. War movie. All right, so let's minimize that. In my original design, I did create kind of a background separation between these elements, so let me just do that real quick. Kind of following the same angle from above. All right, no border, give it a fill. And just make it slightly darker than the actual background. Take this and put it at the bottom, and then we'll take this group and put it right around here. All right. All right, so I'm gonna save. Let's save this real quick. All right, so I'm going to consider this to be the actual page for the starting page. So then we'll have this button here. People will be able to click more info, also this title, and then it'll take us to the next page that we're about to do. So I'm going to switch over see any comments here that I need to look at. Nothing new. I'm not that popular, I guess. I'm also going to real quick give this feed a mention. Let me go to my channel real quick. See if I can get the URL. By the way, is this music annoying? Let me know, because I will turn it off or down. Let's see. Let me go mention it in the Adobe Slack chat real quick. All right, I'm just gonna hide that. Here we go. All right, so continuing on, we're going to do the next page. So what I'll do is take this and duplicate it, Control D, and let's get rid of the layers here. Now this page is going to be quite a bit different. I'm going to delete all this stuff. And then, by the way, let's rename these artboards. Good practice. This is details. This is main. All right, so this is going to be a page that shows when a person clicks on this. So what we'll do is I'm going to drag this down quite a bit. Like that. I'm going to get rid of featured movie because it's no longer really featured there. And then I'm going to move this stuff over just a bit, and that will provide us with all right, I'll turn the music off there. All right, so now we're going to move this over, and over here is going to be an area for the movie poster itself. So let's go back to our where is it? Our yeah, Deadpool. Where's that? Come on, come on. There we are. It has a movie poster here. So I'm just going to drag this in here and get this thing stuck in right around here, and it's going to be off just a little bit to the side, just to let people know. I don't want to take up too much space, plus people can just click on this, and also to let them know that they possibly can click on it or kind of fade it off. I'm duplicating it, so if I get out the layers, you'll see we have a duplicate here, and then I'm going to take the fill and change it to a linear gradient. We're going to reposition it. I'm going to check the comments in a second, guys, so hang with me. And then we'll take this, we'll just make it black, and then this, we will take the opacity down. All right, maybe that shouldn't be black. We'll come up here. Yeah, something like that. Now this isn't going to be more info anymore. It's going to be buy tickets. All right, I'm going to switch over here to the desktop or to your comments and start reading them. All right, so yeah, you know what? Image positioning, that's one thing I wanted to be able to do because it would be cool if I could push this thing over so you can actually see the dude's face. But because that's obviously, if you're using CSS, and this is what I'm talking about, by the way, if you're using CSS, you definitely can position you know, a background image, obviously, but I don't think they give you the ability to do it here, unfortunately, in Adobe XD. So you're kind of stuck with this. If somebody knows otherwise, let me know. All right, so let's keep on going on here. Yeah, in terms of your view question, I can't even remember which app you're talking about, so I can't answer your question, unfortunately. I'm gonna make this black. All right. So yeah, buy tickets. Down here, we're gonna have a rating section. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna do something different here. So, what I'm going to do here is, well, first I'm gonna take the background of this, and I'm going to make it our color. So now this screen right here has the same color as this the background of this header, I believe. I want to fade this off. So to do that, if I take this layer here and we make this one, let's see, this color. Make sure I do this right. Put it right here. Make this 100%. Now the color of this needs to be, yeah, right there. There, now it's kind of just faded down. Okay. All right, so now we're going to have a section here where it just shows some additional details that pertains to the movie. And by the way, Mandel, I'm not going to try to pronounce your first name. The way you get design ideas is to browse. You know, there's if we're talking about UI UX stuff, there's if you go to Google and type daily UI inspiration or something like that, there's a ton of sites that give you a lot of inspiration and collections of user interface designs and screening designs. So we're going to take all this stuff and encase it in a let's see, a container. So no background, but we're going to give a border of black with an opacity. That's kind of just yeah, down right around 29% for now. We're going to have 3 columns of information, which would be the rating, the release date, and runtime. All right, so I'm just going to take this type, bring it to the top, and this will be rating. Scale it down quite a bit. Clickable events in XD, the only way you can get that is through when you're transitioning from one artboard to another. That's the only thing that can happen for now. But they are talking about integrating micro interactions, so that would open the door more for that. I'm going to duplicate this. This rating for this film happens to be R, and we'll make this big. Something like, yeah, 32. Now, when we're dealing with content that's inside of a container like this, you want it to be vertically even. So you just use your keyboard arrow keys and get that, wait until that little alignment guide shows up. I'm going to duplicate this, or just use the repeat grid tool. We want 3 of them. And then push them over. All right, so now I will ungroup it, and we'll say for this one, in theaters, this one's title is going to be Runtime. All right, and so I'm going to ungroup these. This is in theaters May 18th, 2018, which happens to be today. Scale this down. We'll make this regular. By the way, I have to be honest, I watched the first Deadpool, and the beginning was so ridiculous to me, I just stopped watching it. I don't know. 119 minutes. I'm going to make this lowercase. Make this the same size. This is 10. We'll make this 10. And regular. Oh, I hate when that happens sometimes. All right. All right. Let's center this up. All right, I'm going to switch over to the desktop and read some more comments. Yeah, let's see. Hello, gaming time. Have I watched Deadpool 2 yet? No, I don't think I will. I didn't like the first one. And then how about design guidelines like material? Yeah. Also, when it comes to designing a user interface, and if you're the guy that's responsible for designing the front end, it's extremely important to confer, obviously, with whoever is going to be making it a reality in terms of the app. Ask them, are they going to be adhering to some type of design spec or a guideline like a Google material? And if they are, then obviously you need to adhere to that. For me personally, it really just depends. In an ideal world, I kind of just establish and design what I want, but that can be more work if you're not using a framework of any sort that already has pre-designed elements and all that stuff. In terms of Figma or Adobe XD, I already answered that earlier. And the short answer is it depends on what your needs are. To create separation between these, 1 second, or even more, and aside from scale, I think I will, let's see, take down the contrast. Yeah, I'm not sure if I really like this because we have this large letter over here and these don't kind of really align. Let me experiment a little bit more. Take the size down. I think that's better. All right. Okay. So let's go ahead. I'm going to save this for now and continue on. I'm just going to have a description of the movie down here. So I'm going to go back to the Rotten Tomatoes page and grab the description for this movie. I think it's down here. All right. So I'm going to get the type tool. All right, and then make this regular. Scale it down. Increase the line height just a bit. V for a select tool. I don't really want it to take up more than probably this amount right there. All right, and now we're going to put just some, for the final element down here, we're going to have the actors avatar, or not avatars, but their names or their pictures. So we have them right down here. So, wait, I thought they did. Where? Oh, there we are, right here in this section. So first, before I drag them in, I'm going to create ellipses to contain their mugs, and then we'll drop on top of it Ryan Reynolds, right there. And I'm also going to have their name. So a text area, and these are going to be small. Ryan Reynolds. Is it Reynolds, or I don't even know if I'm saying that right. It doesn't feel like I'm saying that right. Just bring this down for the line height and just make sure it's in the center. Choose V. There we go. See how that looks. I'm going to make it smaller, like 10. And we'll make these stick out a little bit more. That's fine for now. Take them both, repeat grid. And we'll also repeat it down right here. All right, so now real quickly, I'm going to leave the names the same, but I'm going to change the pictures here. It's pretty quick. All right, so take that guy, put him there. Take this dude, this chick. Oh, come on. What am I doing here? I don't have access to my scroll bar right here. Let me just click, oh yeah, view all. There we go. Just resize the browser window, Gary. What are you doing? TJ Miller. Whoever she is. All right, that's good enough. There's a few of them repeated, but I don't care. We get the idea. All right, I'm going to switch over to here and look at the comments. So what's going on here? So to repeat an element, anonymous hacker person, you simply just select any element right here as I've done. So say you want to repeat. Say you want to repeat this button right here. You take either a single element, or if you want multiple elements to repeat, like also the background of the button, you select them and then just click Repeat Grid right up here. Once you do that, you have these. You have the ability to drag it over as many times as you want, and then also change the width in between. And then also you can drag it down like that. All right, and then you can also change the width between them this way. And then if you make change to one, like the appearance of the background button, it will change the rest of them. But then you can also ungroup the grid, and then now they're all not a part of the grid, and you can just edit them separately. So that's a quick tutorial on that. This doesn't need to be repeat. There we go. Backing up a few times. All right, so we're almost done with this page here. Let's see. I'm just looking at the YouTube info. All right. Making sure that nobody sent it over super chat and sponsorships. Of course, nobody has. Everybody hates me. So now I'm just going to do one more element here, and it's going to be like one of those. I forget exactly what they're called in material design. The floating buttons. So I'm going to just put one right here, and this is going to be a quick access to buy tickets. And we're going to make it our primary color, which is up here. Add that to the swatches. And then I'm going to use material IO icons once more to get like a shopping cart icon. So just going to put cart, this one, and then SVG, and I'm going to show that in the folder. That showed up on my other desktop, but I'm simply just going to drag that SVG file over here and put it in the middle, and then make it white. Maybe a different icon would make more sense here, like a movie ticket icon or something like that, but no big deal. All right. Okay. Then we'll make a. These usually have shadows as well, even though you can't really see it because of the dark background. This might be just a tad bit too big, so I'm going to scale it down. All right, cool. What? Oh, okay. Something looked off there, but it was just because I was zoomed out quite a bit. So this part's done. Now we're going to do the page where a user clicks on the either buy tickets or that little floating button down in the lower right corner, and it will show what happens when somebody wants to buy a ticket. What's going to show up? What's going to happen? All right, so going back here, I'm going to duplicate this, Control D. Yes, floating action button, FABs. Okay. We'll just call this, I don't know, purchase. All right. And ordinarily and typically when you this isn't a full flow. I'm not going to do like the entering credit card details or whatever. I'm going to just do this one page right here. Because we're already at what, 50 minutes. So what I want to do for this is I'm going to do one of those 2/3 overlays, kind of like a menu that shows up, and there's multiple ways, different patterns that you can use to tackle this, to buy something or show information like this. You can make, for instance, like in Adobe's example, when they were introducing this challenge, kind of like an overlay that showed up from the bottom up with the content inside of it, kind of overlapping this content. But I'm just going to do one that shows up 2/3 like this. So because I know I'm not going to touch any of this stuff, I'm just going to group everything. So group and then lock it right up there. All right. And then I'm going to take a rectangle, left click, and we're at about 2/3 right there. Get rid of the border. And for this one, we're going to make it the background color of the original screen over here. So it's just a slight gray. And then at the top, we're going to have a type tool here. So purchase tickets, left align that. V to get to the select tool, and let's see here, we'll make it this color right here, make it stand out and make it bold. Duplicate this, Control D, and we'll put the name of what they're purchasing. So now to create more separation, obviously aside from scale, we can also do color. So for this color, let's make it black. Now, normally I would make this even larger, but you have to account for the fact that you're going to have longer movie title names. So right there looks good. And let me. I'm going to look at our messages real quick. What do I do for a living? Got any real-time job, or do you just freelance? Yeah, no, I don't have a different job. In fact, I've never had a job where I've walked in to a physical location. It's always been out of my house somewhere in a different room or whatever. And initially I started out doing a ton of freelance design work, and that's how I made my living. And I ranked very well in Google for logo design keywords. This is probably all the way back from 2007 to 2012 or 2013. And so I almost did logo design exclusively for 5 years. Tons of clients, and it was very stable. And then Google, my site just stopped, and it just dropped off, like for the keywords it was ranking for. Then I got into teaching, doing tutorials and stuff. It was just a random thing that came up, and I realized, hey, I can make money doing courses for networks. Like, so Envato Network, the people behind, what is their biggest? They have a network of sites like Audio Jungle, VideoHive.net. The biggest one is the WordPress theme sites. I forget the name of it. But anyhow, they still do Tuts Plus, they're called, tutsplus.com. And I did probably about 2 years of courses for them. And then I also did courses for digitaltutors.com, who was bought out by Pluralsight. And so I have a ton of courses with them. By a ton, probably by 24 or 25. I was doing them for quite a while. I still do courses for them randomly, but not as frequently. And then just last year, I was able to go full-time on my own business, which is Coursetro.com, and also YouTube. YouTube's actually, in the past 7 or 8 months, is like the earnings have shot up. It's like quadrupled. It's insane. Like, it was my worst performer in terms of earnings, and now it's like one of my best. So yeah, I'm able to do this, and I love it. I've never had a real boss outside of just having freelance, clients and such, which in a sense are bosses. But yeah, Let me look over here for more of this. Yeah, I mean, trying to learn how to do design as well as animations and have it not impact the user experience. That comes with practice, essentially, and looking at what other guys are doing in terms of people who are accessible in bigger apps. And so gaining inspiration versus, and also not versus, but also experimenting and getting feedback from other people. It's a process, you know. It's like any other type of thing. If it's a skill, it's going to take time, unfortunately. I'll come back to the comments here in a bit. I'm going to keep designing. So we have this Deadpool tool. I'm going to put in the movie ticket prices right here. So I chose to stream on a Friday. Probably not a good idea because there's 117 of you right now. I streamed like a month ago, and there was like 300 people here. Oh, well, you live and learn. We're gonna make this regular. Starting to get hot in here from this light that's in front of me. I have this light in front of me for lighting here, and I'm going to we'll take the fill here, kind of like a mid-gray. All right. Now what I'm going to do is take this container right here, duplicate it, Control D, move it up, make it white. So now we'll create a container. It kind of separates this content from what's beneath it. So I'll double click on here to get access to the anchor points, and then just drag this one down to keep consistent with this little aesthetic that we have, where we have this little slant in various areas. And when I do that, this changes. I'm going to move this down. All right, so that looks good. And wow, we're coming up on an hour. Almost done. This is the last section we're going to do. So now on this section, we're just going to say, okay, well, when you're purchasing movie tickets, what information do you need from them outside of the credit card stuff, which we're not going to do? That would be, well, how many? So, all right, what happened? Where did my type tool go? There we go. How many? All right, so we'll make these bold, kind of important, but drop down the size a bit. And we'll leave it right around there. So notice, you know, the amount of white space between the bottom of this text right here and this element, this container, and this, the amount of white space between the top of this element and this container is equal. That's what you want when it comes to structuring your user interfaces like this, when you have content like this. Otherwise, if it's up here, it just throws off the design, and you'll be surprised how many new designers kind of make mistakes like that, and they're not sure why it looks like crap, but it just does. But it's just one of those things that comes with time. All right, so it's really important being consistent with your designs. So now we could approach this in a lot of different ways. Like, okay, so how many tickets do you want? How could we let them choose that? Well, we could choose. And it might make the most sense to have a simple drop down, and like a native drop down. They click on it, it expands up to all the options. It's easy to use. Or for the fun of it, we can try to do something unique. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go back real quick to Material IO icons, and this one, event seat. I'm going to use that one right there. So download the SVG. Open, or show in folder rather, and then just drop it in outside, because we don't want it to be like a background of any of these containers. So outside of it. Oh crap, that's the shopping cart one. 1 second. No, I want this one. There we go. So event seat, there we go. Sorry about that. So now we have our event seat, and this is just an icon to represent the fact that they're purchasing seats. All right, and then so my stream health is only orange, by the way. I wonder what that means. Probably, I did make this 1080p, so with a high bit rate, and that might be the issue. So now I'm going to left click. Is it lagging for anybody? Let me know. And I'm just going to put in 1. All right, so that's the first value here. To separate these in a visual sense, we could, take our select tool, select this, change this maybe to a lighter gray, make this one black. And we could also contain this like in a little container. So we'll get rid of the fill. We'll give it a slight border radius. And we'll take the border, we'll go down right around there. Oops, there we go. All right, so now, once we have these elements, and we make sure everything's centered, we'll go ahead, let me lock that here. We'll go ahead and select this element and we'll make it a repeat grid. And I think I'll just show 4 here. And then we'll change. See how this looks, by the way. Maybe we'll show 5. All right, so I'm paying attention, by the way, when I'm spacing these out based on how much white space is present here and also here. Again, so it all comes down to consistency. If I change this, it will stay the same, right? It's not going to change them all. Yep. So this will be 3, 4, and 5. All right, so now what I'll do is ungroup these. And we're going to simulate what one selected looks like. So by default, it'll just say 2 seats. Let's say you're sad and lonely and you're a loser and you only buy 1, like myself. We're going to make the fill. Oops, I should not have done that. Double click here. There we go. Now we'll make the fill this white. And we're going to need to position it underneath. All right, cool. All right, and then to simulate, just to show the user that there's more seat selections, if you're going with a large party or something, we'll put a horizontal scroll bar underneath. So we'll make this extend out all the way, and we'll make border radius, and we'll make this one gray, so it's just slightly more gray, a little darker than the background. And then we'll duplicate it, bring it in, and make this white for the actual handle. And then just move it into place evenly. There we go. All right. I'm going to revert back to the screen here, your comments. Actually, why don't I just do this? Let me go all the way over. I have 3 monitors here. I'm trying to find the mouse on this monitor. Okay. Now you guys can kind of see the live chat window. All right, stream is going well. Okay, so I'm trying to find the last one that I read. Theme Force, all right, it's all, yeah, Theme Force is what it was called. Thank you. Skeeto. You different design. Oh, how different was designing from now and then the date that I started? I started designing, oh my God, like 1997. I'm 34, so I was in middle school, actually. I remember doing a website design for my my high school. And that was pathetic. And you know, I took a trip down memory lane months ago on my channel, and let me show you real quick. I'm going to bring it up. Hopefully I can find it easily. Actually, I may just go to videos real quick because I show off my old work, and it is horrible. Oh, why do you do that? Internal server error. This happens a lot. Well, if I can't get it to work, wait, yeah, there it goes. I don't know how long ago this was. Oh, they're right there. 1999 web design portfolio. So I made a video about some of my design work. And let me I'm not going to show it all. I mean, you know, I'm just going to fast forward to some of the areas. Let me full screen this. So this is what design used to look like back in the day. Oops, I didn't pause that. Like this. What else? Stuff like this. Splash pages were real popular for websites back in the day, where you would have like just this splash page, kind of like how modern day apps are. And you would have to click in order to get into the page. Fortunately, that's a trend that has died. This is me and myself. Like, I didn't have clients back then, so I just like made fictional projects. And this is back way, you know, back in the late 90s. And I was just in high school. I made so many portfolio designs to showcase my work. So like, this is just so funny. You guys should check out the video though, because I give some commentary about all this stuff. Like, look at this. I mean, this is what design used to look like. And I tried to emulate the guys that were, you know, at the top of their game back then. But still, it was so, you know, the industry is so new. Even the best stuff didn't look good. I actually designed this, and this is a long time ago, and I thought that was kind of cool. In terms of just aesthetics, I wouldn't do anything like that now, but you look at that. That was like one of my, yeah, this is when I was 16 years old. This is like my first thing I ever designed. On average, I spend 7 hours a day on the computer. I mean, no better way to show that I had no life back then. But yeah, that's when I started out in late 90s. So yeah, needless to say, you know, design has changed quite a bit since then. All right, so where is your chat window? All right, going back. Yeah, I would probably, oops, there, show the screen here. I would learn a lot on big enterprise, yeah, that's for sure. But it's just something I don't feel like doing, just for the sake of learning. I love waking up when I want to. Coming down here with the comments, I'm trying to look more at these. Make sure everybody can see this. Are there any guidelines for having multiple elements on the page that do the same thing? Try to keep consistent as possible, and you can't differentiate them by doing things like changing colors where it makes sense, although sometimes it doesn't. So it just depends on the context. What do you think before creating any design? Nothing. I mean, you know, if I want ideas, I will browse the inspiration, the UI inspiration sites just for ideas. Obviously, not to copy, and that will spur something. Yeah, round corners in a custom vector path. I'm not sure if you can do that. Maybe you can't. I know in one of the other apps you can. Yeah, I made it before I started. Maybe I'll do one where I completely don't do that. It would take quite a bit longer though, because the process of starting from scratch is not, you know, it's messy. So maybe I'll do that for the next stream. A best way to move from an XD prototype to real code? Not really, because XD is one of the apps they don't provide you with code, like in terms of CSS rule sets and properties based on the elements you're selecting. So you would just have to start off with the HTML and CSS, either custom, although if you're using Google Material or something like that in XD, like the Material Kit, then you can use one of the Material frameworks, CSS frameworks, that would make it easy for you to replicate those without having to do a lot of custom code. I don't really know if there's a CSS export for when it comes to XD. Which program is you writing? Yeah, when it comes to exporting and converting to HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in an automated fashion, I don't know anything about those tools. I mean, I used to, especially back in the late 90s, I would use Fireworks to import my design from Photoshop, my UI design from Photoshop, and then it would allow me to slice sections of the page, and it would automatically output the code for you, all the HTML, and it was all based on tables. So they didn't have divs back then. It was just tables where you would adjust the padding to 0. And so you wouldn't see the tables, but all your stuff was like structured in there. Anyhow, the long story short, when you use any type, when I found a long time ago, and it may still be present today, when you use any type of automation tools for HTML or CSS or whatever, it's usually almost always inferior to just doing it yourself, even though it may save time. And it depends on the project. If you're doing something like a prototype, then obviously if you need it in HTML, CSS, the code being clean isn't a big deal. So, all right. So, yeah, I don't do live streams often. I decided to do it today. All right. That arm needs some cleaning. I'm not sure what you're talking about. All right, I've focused on these a little bit too much. I'm going to come back to them though at the end. I'm going to finish this up. So let's see here. So here's the project we've done so far, and I'm just going to do. I'm almost done. I'm going to duplicate this title, and we'll just say, "When are you going?" Okay. And this is the point yesterday when I was doing this project that I didn't have much time left. So what I did, instead of actually having like a date selector, I got lazy and I just duplicated this line like this and this and that, and then I said, okay, I'm done. Now I'm going to do one more call to action button. Just duplicate it from that artboard, bring this sucker over here, extend it out to the full width, and this is an important button, so we'll give it a fill of our primary color and make this larger, bold. And we have our buy tickets. Maybe we'll take this icon down here and stick it over here. Scale it down just slightly. Take these two elements and center them. And then group this up and move it down. All right, so let's get a little bit more separation here. All right, so that was what I produced for yesterday's XD challenge from Adobe. Today, they probably already have a new one. Let me see what time it is. 1 second, guys. It's 11:16 a.m. I think they're going to be announcing it within 30 or 40 or 50 minutes or something like that. Let me go back here real quick. I try to get access. Where the hell? Oh, okay. All right, so 92 of you are watching now. Oh, thank you very much, Dennis, for giving a super chat. Awesome. Thanks a lot, man. Let me get back the comments here. And now, oh, wait. I'm going to go back to the comments. Let me do the prototyping of this real quick. So when you're prototyping, we'll check this out. Whenever you have buttons that should be grouped, and then you group them. So I'm going to take this and group these buttons together, Control G. So this will be clickable. And then we'll go to prototype. More info will lead here. Oops. We'll leave here. And the transition, I'm going to hit none for this one. And then same thing with this. And then for this logo or this top header, we'll click and we'll choose previous artboard. So I'll just go back to the artboard that it came from. Buy tickets. All right, that should be a group as well. So we'll go back to the design tab, hit Control G. Same thing with this over here. These should be groups, Control G. And we'll go back to prototype. So we'll have buy tickets goes here. And this time we will have a transition type of slide left, because this will slide in left. And we'll make it 0.2. Ease out is fine. And then this will do the same thing. So we'll drag that over. It remembers what you did previously in terms of your settings. And then for this one, if anybody clicks on this back here, we'll make it go previous artboard. Oops. Oh, come on. There we go. And then the previous artboard will reverse automatically the transition settings that it came from. I learned that yesterday from Adobe's live feed. Cool. You should. I forgot to put a little X here to also allow people to press X on here to close this window. But no big deal. I think you guys can understand how that would be. And I think that's it. So let's try this out. I'm gonna hit play, and let's go ahead and click more info. Actually, why isn't this lined up here? Oh well, whatever. And then we'll click here. Here we go. You can't really click on these, but yep, that's the process here. So go back to our movie app, and that's that. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to switch back to the chats here. All right, so I'm going to read these. A bit unrelated, but in the View app, you did to retrieve. Yeah, you asked that earlier. I can't remember which one it was because I did multiple View apps, multiple ones based on cryptocurrency. Let's see. That's true. How would I showcase your designs in XD to clients? Would that be prints, or can you create an interactive component preview product that you can send? So in XD, if you go up here and you're ready, so let's say you have this ready, the prototype's ready to use. You click on Publish Prototype, and then you create a public link. I'll do this for you. I'll paste it in the super chat so you guys can see this, because it provides you with a link. So we can click on Open Link. I'm going to copy it first, and then Open Link, and it showing up on my other monitor. And so now this is a prototype that people can, your clients or whatever, can see and actually use. So I'll paste that. Let's see if I can paste that in. Hopefully I can, because I'm the channel creator. There we go. You guys can click that now, and now you can check it out, use it on your own. Let me know how that works. Also, the live feed stuff from Adobe, I left that up, I think. Let me close this out. What you guys can do is, it's xd.adobelanding.com/daily challenge. You can enter this daily challenge stuff, and they also have live feeds when they introduce each day's challenge. We're on day 3. They're going to announce a new one today very shortly, within a few minutes possibly. And then they also have a Slack channel, adobeXD.slack.com. And yeah, there's me spamming my live feed. And yeah, you guys could participate in that manner. Let's see. I'm going to go back to the chats real quick. Let me scale this sucker up. See if there's anything up here like this. Oh, there's Michael. Hey, what's up? I'm still thinking about coming to Adobe. If you're watching still, I'm dragging my feet on the consideration of that to become one of your live streamers. So I'll get back to you probably by the end of today. Let's see here. Make a website like Discord. I was actually building a cryptocurrency website where each room was its own cryptocurrency. So that was the chat rooms. That's how the chat rooms were separated. Oops. And it was like Slack, and I fizzled out on it. I used Angular for that, but it was actually really cool. I mean, some of the stuff I was able to do with observables and showing live chat features, like I made it so that if somebody got banned, this massive ban hammer would come in the interface, and it would show up on everybody who's currently in that chat room, and it would show the person's avatar who was getting banned. It would just like smash them. Oh, it was awesome. But I think I should get back to that project, because especially in this day and age with cryptocurrencies being so popular, it'd be stupid not to develop something in that. All right, coming back here. Yeah. Bring back the old background music. All right, here we go. Now let's see here. We've been live for longer than I thought we would. An hour and 22 minutes. Yeah. Maybe I should do that more. So, can you do a live stream for designing a website? Yeah, well, we just did this app here, and it'll be available on the channel permanently about an hour or so. I think they take like an hour to release the feed on the channel. But yeah, maybe a website. That's an idea. Thank you, Ronaldo. Yeah, so in a few, I'll try to. Oh, by the way, you want to know what it's like to fail on epic proportions? Oh, man. I'm going to show you how much I failed recently. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I released a video on my YouTube channel. Let me go to YouTube here. All right. I'm currently live as it's showing. And this one, help me help you, exclusive live streams and blah, blah, blah. YouTube just recently made this sponsor button right here. This is a new feature where if you click on it, they've basically taken the idea of Patreon and they baked it right here into YouTube. And for $4.99 a month, it's a flat fee. I don't control the fee or what it is. This is something YouTube set in stone. Then you can get exclusive features of what the channel creator is willing to do for $4.99 a month. And so exclusive monthly live stream. I'm willing to do exclusive monthly design challenge and exclusive community access via Discord. So I have this all set up and I'm planning on doing these. And I was thinking to myself, okay, I'm just going to try to do this new feature. I'm one of the channels that has it enabled right now, because I think you need at least 10,000 subscribers, and see how it goes. Maybe a bunch of people will join. Yeah, right. Oh, it is bad. It's bad, guys. Let me as of this morning, one person joined. So that's a fail, and that's the part. That's a part of owning a business, you know, the web-based business stuff. You got to experiment though, because otherwise, if you don't experiment, you're never going to discover what works and what doesn't. So that did not work. Fortunately, I have my Corsetro Pro subscription thing at Courcetera.com, and that does well. And I need to start adding more courses, which I will very shortly. Did I wireframe? Depends on what you mean by wireframe. I did design the project yesterday that I showed you guys today, so there wasn't a lot of, it would be probably twice as long because I change a lot of stuff as I go. Did I learn any coding? Yep, I learned to code PHP back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then JavaScript after. How do I use SVG as background? I have a tutorial on that on my channel. Just look at my recent videos. Yeah, you're right. I was expecting at least 10. I mean, at least 10. But oh well. I mean, because I've released courses in the past and I got a bunch more. But this, I guess, just not intriguing enough for enough people. But I'm going to do it. There's one person and I will do it for them. So we'll see. All right, guys. Just going back to the project one last time. This is it. Adobe XD. They have that creative challenge stuff going on where, yeah, join their Slack chat and do this thing up here. Go to xd.adobelanding.com/daily-challenge. Enter your name and email, and they will email you a challenge each day for the next 5 days. And you guys can show off what you've done and learn that way. All right, guys. So hopefully you found that entertaining and useful. And I will see you guys. I'm not sure we're going to do a live stream next, but the thing I'm going to start working on immediately is the Angular 6 crash course project-based video. All right, see you guys later. Now, if I could just shut this off quickly to avoid any awkwardness.